G'day all. I hope that everyone is well. Just going to be a slow start to the stream. Just need to wait and get a couple of people to come and join in and also share this link. But good evening. Let's see. Should do. G'day Gary, first one in. G'day mate. Hope that you are doing well. Now we are going to discuss the entire situation that is occurring with the hundreds of rockets entering Israel. I know second live stream within a 24-hour period, but we will go over everything. We'll have a look at some footage and we'll also see what some of the information I'm getting told by many sources as well. Right, and post it up. So, right, let us jump across and let's have a look at what is then occurring. It is very late, but a dear friend of mine then rang me. I have a couple of people that I'm like, if things start really going down, ring me, wake me up, and then we will discuss from there. So basically what has occurred is yesterday, sorry, I just want to show you this. Let me, how do I, so I'm trying to bring up OBS. So about, I don't know, 6 hours ago, we did get a lot of warnings come through. I then put it in the Telegram that, look, there is increased warning that there could be some level of attack from Iran into Israel. And it could be very large, following then, of course, the targeting in southern Lebanon, as well as the ground invasion that is occurring also in those operations, said to be a limited operation, but then the forces, the Israeli forces, then crossing there. So we did have a look and wait out and see what exactly could occur. And, well, we are seeing now this, and I'll show you some footage just in 1 second. I'm just going to allow a couple of minutes before, if people want to come and jump in. Sorry, just 1 second. I'm still getting, as you likely are, I'm still getting my head around everything. I've just woken up. It is 02:53 here in the morning in Australia. So I am still getting my head around everything that is also occurring. So we see a hell of a lot of rockets, of missiles heading back into Israel, and we will then have a look at some of this footage. And as you can see, so Austin has shared more footage showing ballistic missile impacts earlier in southern Israel. Now, one thing I will say is that it tends to be a massive launch just again now. So a lot of getting through air defense, potentially a shooting, at least 10, and the shooting started when the missiles started flying, is what I am being told. So let's have a look at some of this. If this is loud, I do apologize. So 100%, a lot of. These also. So definitely a lot of these getting then through those air defenses. Now, just by luck, I guess, I then said yesterday in my Ukraine video update, I did say then this could have a large impact on Ukraine purely because of the fact that there is limited air defense production around the world. Right. Okay. I will be monitoring the chat as well. I'm just going to go back to this screen and I'll have a bit of a scroll. Wow. Okay. Just right. I need to look at some of this before we go on. There are massive impacts across Israel. The air defense, there's definitely a lot of these then getting through, as you can see here. That. So this is very, very, very significant in my opinion. It was April last time we saw then Iran launch missile attacks like this or similar to this. In my opinion, this is far more significant, at least from the footage that I am seeing. There weren't as many clear videos of impacts like this, at least that I can remember from then. So this is a lot. How much damage would a single missile do to residential areas? Look, it's so hard to know, man. We don't know enough about specifically what these are that is actually getting hit. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how there is a response and then back to this and the escalation that is, well, now we're climbing that escalation ladder. And we've been climbing that escalation ladder out of control now for a lot of time. Yeah. Sorry, I'm still trying to get my head around this. I've woken up 10 minutes ago and I couldn't get to sleep. And then I just got to sleep. And then my good mate, we'll just call him D, rings me. And he's like, you need to be up right now. So this is footage claiming to show Iranian ballistic missile launches from near the city of Tabriz in northern Iran. So it is really, really happening. Remember, Legends, if you want to support the stream and my trip, because I'll be going to the US for the elections and live stream, or potentially back to Israel as well. You know that I was in Israel because I thought this was going to occur a couple of months ago. There is the comment, the pinned comment, and some other features as well if you'd like to then actually support the stream monetarily, or I guess actively support the stream there. So we see, videos like this of these ballistics firing off, and then we see then videos like this coming in, and it said that there was another wave launched only a few minutes ago, and if some of this footage is earlier footage of these getting through, the more degraded that AD is, the more success these may have to start then getting through as well, which of course, once air defense is degraded, well, more and more starts getting through. It will be very interesting to see what involvement US destroyers, like US Navy ships, as well as US and UK planes have in the skies against these systems as well, and what could change there if, of course, there was further escalations. Imagine if one of those planes or something got hit. So yeah, things are, because at the end of the day, this is what people forget about air defense: is it does not matter how good your air defense is if things start getting through. That is the danger. That it doesn't matter if you just run out of, you know, you just run out of missiles. It doesn't matter what's coming in. You can't then hit it. So I'm just looking at some other footage. Eden's Mind. Happy you came more nuanced in the conflict. I wonder if you changed your mind in Israel since the start of the conflict. Look, it's so complex. At the end of the day, you know, I believe in anyone's right to self-defense and to, you know, that you don't get to choose in which way someone then responds to something. But there is a lot of things that are like, and, you know, going from a limited campaign that had international support to now a campaign that even the most hardcore supporters are like, what? There's definitely some change there. Especially with in looks at the to international like laws and norms too. And I look at it very strategically as far as, hang on, other countries are seeing that you're just writing this off. Why then should we expect them to see to this standard also? Sorry, I'm just trying to get a couple of files uploaded because I want to share a couple with my what's it called? Telegram. If you're not on the Telegram, come and join. I do recommend it. And I'll have a look for some more footage in 1 second for you guys. Right. I was just ripping some videos off Twitter. So, right, if you're new here, guys, there has been a massive attack launched. In my opinion, much, much larger than what we saw in April, of hundreds of rockets coming from Iran into Israel. Now, one of the primary things, so this is what it looked like launching then out of Iran, of these ballistics. And then one thing we can see, which is very different from potentially other times, is you can see, yes, of course, you'll see some of these getting intercepted, but a hell of a lot of these, not being intercepted, and then having strikes in Israel as well, as you can see by footage like this here. That's intercepted, and then even more not intercepted, further degrading than whatever capacity is there. Also, I think this is maybe the most telling footage of that specifically. Let me I just got a so I'm just on a group. All the airspace is closed, both Israel and Iraq. That does not surprise me. We don't have a good update yet on exactly what has been hit, what the damage is yet. How could Israel respond? I don't know. But I think the US will want, the US will be like, look, we need some idea around what escalation and how out of control this wants to get. One thing I did say in my video yesterday, and it just, I didn't have any insider information on this, but on my video yesterday, one of the first things I said in the first minute of the 30-minute video, I did say, if there is major attacks over Israel, one of the big problems is going to be just the production of air defense and the allocation of air defense that could go to Ukraine is going to be limited from this. And what we're seeing here is that air defense is, not keeping up already. Sorry. Um, Sorry, I wanted to go live first, get my head around everything, then second. So I'm sorry if I'm have a look on my phone, and I'll just, my God, you can get the idea of like the rocket alerts over. Of course, you've got Tel Aviv, Haifa. We were up in this sort of area around here. For those who followed me, you can just see the amount over here of hundreds of these launches into Israel as well. We'll see. They say fragment, but I think this is just missile, to be honest. Right here, over Tel Aviv. Unsure what exactly has then actually been struck north of Tel Aviv. This was the first bit of footage that I'd actually seen. These look like a lot of interceptions here too, but there's also a hell of a lot of these actually just coming down as well. So major escalation happening. Willie, to me, it looks like a decoy warhead and an actual warhead. The one that hit the field looks like it didn't carry explosives. That can absolutely happen. Absolutely, that can happen with missiles. You can have decoys as well as live ones. This is exactly how ICBMs work in a nuclear way. Also, there's a lot of decoys. One thing I will say, God, I'm sorry, I've got dry eyes. One thing I will say is I would hazard a guess, not say I'm very likely correct in this, that Russia has given some amount of intel, at least, as to a lot of the air defense systems that are active here. So, yeah, okay, Iron Dome is not present in Ukraine, but other systems like Patriot or just other systems in general about what might be the best way to get through some of these, because they've had a fair bit of experience firing missiles in over the last couple of years. 3 waves of attack. First wave was to dry out defence. Yeah, very likely. Is there a bunker in Australia? No, not for the public. Australia's safety is in its size. That, you know, if something were to really go down Australia, you just drive 2 hours out into the bush, and it wouldn't matter what anyone dropped. No one's going to target anything out there. There's nothing out there to target. So this is over then Jerusalem. Sorry. Well, we were almost there for this, and we were almost there, and we would have been streaming from the ground. But we were just a little bit late, hey? So Rear Admiral of the IDF has said the attack will have consequences, stated that the attack is now ended and residents should leave their shelters. He further states no casualties so far have been reported, that several Iranian ballistic missiles were intercepted. So that is from... Aussie does a good job at this. So, yeah, they're saying that there's no casualties so far have been reported, and that these several have been intercepted, but by the looks of it, there've also several that just went smack. Israel getting hit with the largest ballistic missile attack in history. Biden, Harris are currently in the Situation Room, ordered US military forces across the Middle East to aid in the defense of Israel. Of course, we know where those allied countries then sit as well. We'll get a statement out of this. Sky over West Jordan as these long-range missiles pass, heading towards Israel. I didn't even think about how the stock market went. I did see that oil prices took a bit of a hit, like 3 points or 3% or something. So yeah, the big thing that the US will be thinking about right now is how then, what is the appropriate response to this? This is the problem. This is the escalation ladder, just ratcheting up of this. Is it's not like you cannot respond to this, but then they respond and then you respond and then it just snowballs completely out of control. And someone who goes, aerospace stocks are up. That doesn't surprise me at all. But the IDF has said that there is limited casualties, or none at least reported yet. I think that will very likely change in the coming hours. But also, according to AusInt, has said to leave shelter. So it must be very information that it is done. But again, we're not really sure. We're going to have a look over some more footage. But you can see in this, you can see these just raining down. You can also see, say, where my cursor is here, you can see an interceptor, I should say. That is unbelievable. Remember, guys, if you want to support the stream, and also I'm fundraising because I'm Australian. Obviously, if you're not, haven't seen the accent, I live in Australia, but I'll also be going to America in a month to live stream on the ground the US elections. Potentially, I could return here where we're watching as well. But if you want to support that, support my trip, I'm completely independent. The PayPal link in the pinned comment, that is the best way to support me. And if I have to fly somewhere and then to actually survive while I'm there, and say the US or back to here or whatever as well. So if you want to support, the best way is the super chat feature on YouTube, but also then the pinned comment as well, if you are that way inclined. I appreciate that. It really does help out a lot. Let me see if I can find some more. If there's anywhere you are seeing that you is something that I'm missing that I haven't shown you, please let me know. Danny says, this whole situation seems to get worse and worse. What do you think the end game is? I hope you're doing well, mate. Thanks, Danny boy. I appreciate that, mate. Look, mate, this is one of the problems. I don't think there is like a clear end game. It started with, of course, the October 7th, which is almost a year now. And then the response being a limited, said to be something limited back into Gaza. That now has turned into a year-long operation that has then spread into then the north. Now it has spread into involvement across Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, with different groups, different systems all working in tandem or against in some ways. So what is the clear end game here? I don't know. But as people who have been to Afghanistan know that if you enter without a very, very clear end game, then you move those goalposts and you end up with no idea where you're going. And this is the failure of the coalition mission within Afghanistan. There was no clear end game. We didn't, from the moment we rocked up, that changed. The goalpost got pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and got to the point where no one really knew. Like, if you asked me, like, what exactly was what you were supporting, I'd be like, well, I'm training that dude. Okay, what for? Well, to do this, and where does it? So what I'm getting at is, if you don't have a clear end game, it really does, it really can just spiral out of control. So AusInt is saying that Iranian ballistic missiles were reportedly launched against Dimona nuclear research facility in the Negev desert of southern Israel. It is unknown if the facility suffered any impacts. So I don't know. We'll have a look and we'll wait out and see. I just switch back to myself before I look at any of the footage just to get a better idea what has happened. Reports of dozens of aircraft apparently overhead in Syria. Now. Alerts continue across central and southern Israel as well. Arrow 2, Arrow 3 anti-ballistic missile interceptors launching across central Israel now. Israeli airspace has reopened following Iranian ballistic missile attack. Jesus, you'd think you'd leave it a bit longer than that, wouldn't you? Kirby for the £10, mate. Kirby, thank you very much, dude. I really, really appreciate that. That'll go towards a ticket so I can be on the ground in DC with my phone, live streaming the outcome of the US elections, but also if any chaos ensues after that as well. What sort of response do you think we'll get from Albanese over this? For those unaware, Albanese is the Australian Prime Minister. The same sort of weak messaging that all the Western leaders have currently. Yeah, some people look at leaders and vote for leaders because of this or that. I look at, like, really realistically, what would this bloke be like, or this man or woman, what would this be like in a war scenario? And Jesus, I don't have much faith in the leadership from Finland to the US to Australia. Interesting at best. I want to say there's something that does peeve me about Australia. I think Australia has the potential to be, bar none, the greatest country on earth, with the small-ish population, massive amounts of resource, could have incredible wealth, incredibly geographically isolated, which I know it's annoying if you want to go to Europe, but it's not for, of course, your safety and security. I just think Australia could be the absolute best country on earth, and these leaders are just pissing it up the wall, and that just annoys the hell out of me. And of course, then that leads to people not wanting to have kids. So then, it just sucks. Australia's greatest resource are the babes. They love the accent. You gave your guns up. Well, I didn't. I was too young. Same with Canada. Yeah, Canada's the same. I feel sorry for the civilians who are in the crosshairs regards to the nation. Yeah, exactly. There are so many civilians caught up all around the world in different people's plots. It's just, I hate it. I can't believe humans continue to do this to each other. So this is the tail section of an Iranian ballistic missile in Tel Sheva in the Negev desert here that has sputtered into something bloody concrete. If this ever happens, don't go that close and take a photograph of it. I'm glad we got the photograph. Probably don't do that, but you can see then the tail section of this. You get a better idea exactly how this is looking also. So let me just have a look on a couple of other pages. If there's anywhere you believe I should be looking, please let me know. Ruben Nordzo. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate that, man. I wish I had a message, but all I can say is thank you, bro. Is that Danish krone? Thanks, man. Thank you. Air defense saturation is occurring. So, of course, saturate the air defense, then, your missiles start getting through. So, I guess I'm not, and you and I, we're not strategic advisors for bloody air defense, but I struggle to think what the goal wouldn't be is to just send in your cheaper decoy, whatever first, saturate that air defense, and then you launch in your other attacks. And it appears, at least, that is somewhat what has happened. Let's see if the Israeli Defense Force themselves has released any level of statement. And that was a fantastic donation. Thank you, DKK, mate. I really do appreciate that, Rubes. Right, let's have a look. That'll definitely help me out. Definitely help me out getting to the US to do a stream, or if things continue to evolve in the Middle East, to go. If I had the money, I would have just stayed there indefinitely and just waited out and worked, but it is just expensive. Willie, new footage of missiles. Darth Vantos, where should I be looking? I was hoping there'd be a level of statement. Yes, Stu Studios. I did report on this as well, that there was reports of then, was basically right as the attack started, or during at least, there was then a shooting also that kicked off. But I haven't seen too much more on this. We will get a better idea. Do you think Israel will look to topple Iran? I have said publicly before that I do think there's a bit of a, what's it called? Event horizon that has been crossed in the last couple of years. That all roads lead to a war with Iran. I just can't see how that's not inevitable in all of this. Yeah, that I just can't see how that's now not inevitable. But no one wants more war. But I just don't see how that isn't how this then ends up. White House president briefing about to start. Okay. Where can I watch that? Where's the best way to watch? Where is the best place, sorry, to watch the White House briefing? Let's look. Does White House have a Twitter? Surely. The White House. Live news section, YouTube, briefing room. Let's wait and see if this starts. Rob, Rob, thank you, brother. I really appreciate that, man. We gotta wake up Biden. Yeah, not far off that, eh? Kay, thanks for covering this. Really good luck in the States. Thank you, Kay. Yeah, I hope. Look, I always hope nothing happens, but if I'm in the States and things do happen, I'll be there streaming. The only thing that could stop me doing this, and I don't think this is going to occur, is you guys know I had that new scan on my head, on the tumor in my brain tumor. The new scan not last week, sorry, the week previous, or maybe it was last week. God, now it sounds like the tumor's got worse. Sorry, it's 3 a.m. and I've barely slept. Anyway, I've got another appointment follow-up with my neurosurgeon, and the only thing that could turn off me going is if I need to like restart chemotherapy or further treatments also. So I see the surgeon. I haven't actually looked at the email yet, but it'll be this week or next week, I believe. And if things change, then I may have to turn off the trip. But anyway, I'll make it in a later date when there's a swearing in of a new president or whatever as well. Willie, the IDF has released a statement. Okay, let's have a quick look at that. I'll just have a look at that, and then we will jump back and see. Where did they release said statement? Twitter, Facebook, website, maybe? Inquiries, mission, press releases.
אזרחים יקרים, לפני זמן קצר פיקוד העורף הפעיל הנחיות מצילות חיים באזורים נרחבים במרכז הארץ. המנחות על הימצאות בסמוך למרחבים מוגנים, זאת בעקבות ירי טילים מלבנון. מדובר בטיל אחד מלבנון שיורט. זה הפעיל התראות בפלאפונים, זה אומר שהתראות בפלאפונים עובדות, וזה אמר להיות סמוך למרחב. אזרחים יקרים, לפני זמן קצר פיקוד העורף הפעיל הנחיות מצילות חיים באזורים נרחבים במרכז הארץ. המנחות על הימצאות בסמוך למרחבים מוגנים, זאת בעקבות ירי טילים מלבנון. מדובר בטיל אחד מלבנון שיורט.
This is nothing that we haven't seen before, but as Slippy Salmon does say, we had a look at something that Ozzy then shared before, that there's no casualties reported as of yet. Again, wait and see, but that there will be response. What that response will be, we don't know. What the damage actually is, well, we don't know. We definitely know that a lot of these have been hit too. Palestinians celebrating lifting the fuselage of an Iranian ballistic missile that fell in the West Bank. So this is probably the first stage of one of these that has come off, just the rocket booster. Is it early work hours? It is early work hours, mate. I've been burning the candle at both ends today, like you would not believe. My girlfriend got home today from work, and she's like, "You look terrible." She's like, have you been sleeping at all? Like, no. And then tonight was meant to be that night, and I couldn't get to sleep. I was stressing about something. And then this has all occurred, and yep. All right, we'll see if much comes through. Is it really late for you? Yeah, it's 3:0328 currently. Right, does anyone know when this White House press briefing is meant to start? Oh, they don't allow comments on this. We have more viewers currently than the White House press briefing. That's impressive, isn't it? I don't know how many viewers we have. Oh, we're not too far off it. Right, we'll have a look at that. More footage will come through. How and when will Israel respond? I can't tell you. Very likely it's not going to be instantly. There's going to be a workout of what actually was the damage, what has occurred. How do we need to reload magazines on some of these systems as well? And then we'll get a better idea of what happens then. Thanks, TJ Henry, mate. I should have put the kettle on. And then I've got to go. I can't stay too long. I've actually got to leave. So I was trying to get some decent rest. because then I knew that I'd have to. I knew I have to get up early because I've got to go across town, like right across town, to see my doctor to get a new referral and a couple of scripts done. One of the scripts is for sleeping tablets. So I've got to get up. That's the thing. I'm missing out on sleep because I've got to go see my doctor and get more tablets to try and help me sleep. So I can't stay too long.
Yeah, guys, there are definitely impacts taking place. We can see on some video that's circulating right now. There was just another wave of ballistic missile attacks, many interceptions over the northern part of Israel where we are reporting from right now. Impacts?
That's Trey, if you're not aware. Fox News does a really good job over there. We'll wait and see how this goes. I'm going to text my mate. And then we'll look at more. Sorry, I need to write a message to someone. I just thought of. God damn, where's this? Will the US going to do a press brief? Yeah, this is the press brief thingy. We'll get an idea on what then the US says from there. I'll be interested to know what questions are asked about this as well. Seeing a lot of hits in multiple videos. Yeah, look, I'll show you the footage in a second. But 100% yes, there's been multiple hits overnight as well.
In Israel, we've seen multiple interceptions over Haifa. We're live. Tune in. Right now, there's a massive.
Let me have a look. I'll see if I've got any more. So Mossad commentary has posted footage of Iran's largest power plant. It's going to get wild in the Middle East. Jesus. We'll get a better idea. Next couple of days, we'll see. God, I wish I was there. I was just too early. I was there in Haifa and up in the north for a couple of weeks earlier in the year because I thought it was going to happen, but just a couple of months short. But no one can predict exact timings on these things either. I think this is probably the most impressive of the footage of these, then all impacting at very similar locations. Right, we're keeping our ears peeled for when this press briefing goes up, and we will talk through this as well. We'll see what is said. So I'm just looking at any other news that's coming through. Initial estimates that at least 200 missiles. I've seen other people estimating it 300. Some are saying 400 to 500. Emergency meeting. Yeah, we're waiting on the briefing of this. So yeah, some channels are reporting 181. Some are reporting 500. So we know that's in a range there somewhere. And it's definitely not 100% intercept rate. So I'm trying to find if there's any. Yeah, there was things get absolutely pounded too. The Negev footage, that's very telling also, if I can find that. Let me find Negev. Oh, I definitely showed you this just before. But there's a couple of two coming straight in. What time is it where you guys are at the moment? Is it early, late? Someone says these are ICBMs, not rockets. Well, there is a difference in what is exactly what also. Will you stop scrolling to show the videos? Oh, Isa, sorry. We have shown all of these as they were coming out previously, but I will show you the footage if you like to see. Sorry. I just thought, I did think everyone has seen this, so I did sort of whiz through it. Hey, Barback. Hope you're doing well. Haven't spoken to you since the last streams. Right, when is this press briefing going to start? This is what we are waiting on. 0400 in Victoria. Good morning. Bloody very early, mate. Did I miss a thing? Eden's mine. Go to Wall Monitor. He has far more better footage. Okay. I'll go there first. Just wait a sec, guys. I'm about to show you some more footage, but I just am going to quickly watch it myself just in case of what's what before this pops up. This is the footage I was trying to show you. These impacts in Tel Aviv.
Okay, guys, we got to get off the roof. These are coming down right next to us.
So there's like
here.
Western media on the roof, probably a security advised that you can then hear talking.
We got to go inside.
And then these impacts coming in.
A deadly fireworks display over Tel Aviv. Goodness, there was an impact just to the left of us here. Okay, guys, we got to get off the roof. These are coming down right next to us here. They're coming down. One just about.
Oh, there's definitely hits in here too. God, man, the air raid siren gets me shivers. Hey, Jesus.
Goodness, there was an impact just to the left of us here.
Right, is this? No, not yet. If I miss it, if I miss the beginning of the thing, please let me know. So, said to be footage of the Nevatim airbase here. These are look to be direct impacts here. I can't see exactly what's actually being hit here, though. Oh, it's impossible to see what is actually on the ground being hit. Thank you, Draconian Devil. Sorry. Yeah, I was trying to... you can't see what is actually then impacted, but there are definite, very close impacts of multiple rockets there. 1, 2, maybe 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 14... So at least, I think, 14 strikes right here on said to be Israeli Nevatim airbase. Press pool is seated, right. Another angle. You can set interceptor also, then launch off. Going for something. But you can see further strikes too. Look at that. That's unbelievable. Wow. Okay, US Embassy in Lebanon is doing a brief in 2 hours. Right. This footage where this camera turns, that is terrifying. Look at that, as far as you can see. Right, we'll wait on that briefing. Do you think the attack in Tel Aviv was coordinated with the missiles? I believe very likely so. Oh, this fucking bloke. Never Team Air Base. I think I showed you this footage, but we'll have a watch. So yeah, they are not intercepted. Like there are potential interceptions, but majority of those are absolutely getting through. Again, you can overwhelm any air defense system. The thing is too, you need to also consider how expensive interceptors are too. Like each Iron Dome is $50,000 to $100,000 depending if it fires one or two. And then of course the larger strikes are the larger systems like your Patriots or whatever are then much more expensive again and hard to make and produce. It'll be interesting to see how Israel can actually refit those stocks too. Clover Third, thank you for the donation, mate. I really appreciate that. Remember, if you want to support the stream and support my trip to the US to live stream the elections, anything like that, it helps me out absolutely massively. Thank you. So we weren't sure what Iran was going to do, and well, Iran has really gone balls to wall on what then they have done. Someone said these are actually reverse footage. These are interceptors going out. Sure. These are more strikes occurring also. Two going in. You can see the flashes of where they hit. God, that air defense has been really, at least till very recently. Can you say good day, legends? I don't say good day, legends. I say g'day, like an Australian hello. Same, but G''DAY. Oh, let me... Oh. Wait. Oh, I've got... Sorry, I thought I was showing you guys footage. I want to be on this screen. Is this started? No. Come on then. Willie, you're missing it. You could have been there. I could have been there. I thought I was going to be there when we had the messaging of things kicking off the other day. I considered going when the announcements were in Lebanon, but I couldn't take the risk again financially. The last trip was a bit of a hit, and I couldn't do it again. off a whim. And if I knew this was going to happen, I would have gone. But of course, I didn't. No one knows this is just going to actually happen. Fatty Be Free asks, what do you think happens next? I think we'll see a lull for a couple of days. We'll continue seeing ground operations in Lebanon. I think we'll see a lull. There'll be some, of course, closed room meetings and then public meetings, well, briefings. In Israel, the US, UK, there'll be a refit of air defense and an assessment of what's happened. As far as what will the response be towards Iran, I really don't know. There'll probably be some bombing. But beyond this, wow, I just really, really don't know. Briefing video has started. Oh, it hasn't. Do you think this shows Iran has nukes or Russia, China? Russia and China definitely have nuclear weapons and deliverable systems. Iran has long been after getting a nuclear system, but through different treaties and this and that hasn't been able to. But again, you don't know if there's been a change in relationship between some of it and some of its partners either. So this briefing to me hasn't started yet, unless I should be watching it somewhere else. Oh, I can feel a sneeze. I can feel it right here. I can't believe this. If Mr. He knows who he is in the chat, the one who rang me to wake me up for this, let me know. I meant China, Russia assurances on defense. Oh, thanks, Eden. Look, I don't think there'd be an assurance on defense with Iran from Russia or China. China doesn't, they tend to stick away from any like real alliances like this. But again, we will see. On the PayPal, Mr. Danush, thank you very much for the donation there also. I can't show this footage, but there are streets riddled with bodies in Jaffa following then that Islamist terrorist attack that it took place at the same time. Then the missiles came in, two of guys with weapons, with like small arms. I've shown you most of the footage. What is the payload of those missiles? We really don't know. Tofi Master, thank you for your coverage, sir. Thank you, Tofi Master. Really do appreciate that. All that really, really helps. Helping me bring the live stream. I think that will be exciting. I think if I can live from the ground in the US at the election, I think that will be very interesting because of how important that is and the potential for things to get wild. So I'll let you know. My eyes and stuff are so dry from getting out of bed. I should have made a cup of tea. The pickle says, I feel China would want to keep nukes off the table in case they need them for invading an island. Your thoughts? Nukes aren't on the table yet. The assurance of just complete destruction, nukes aren't on the table, and they're not on the table for an invasion of that island either. That'll still be very conventional. China really does, to its detriment in many cases, not have the amount of military, doesn't have the official military alliances around the world, but that also doesn't mean that they're dragged around into different actions also. But I think everyone's sort of keeping nukes off the table at the moment. I know there's saber rattling, but that doesn't mean that they're on the table. It means you're talking about it. Ryan Sindwell, thank you, brother, on the PayPal. And so in Paul Samagalski, thank you as well on the PayPal. I really appreciate that. Remember, guys, if you want to donate, PayPal is the best way just because with YouTube, the amount I won't receive any of this until we're 1st of October, so not till November, which is well after I have to pay for my flights to get to the US, or if I then go back to Israel also. People are asking how many airframes may have actually been hit on the ground as well. Willie, can you get satellite images of the damage caused? Not yet, but I guarantee you tomorrow there will be, and we will absolutely talk about that. Why are Australians and Canadians always so focused on what's happening in the US and which decisions the US are making? At the end of the day, you know, we are incredibly reliant on the US, and US policy absolutely affects us massively. In some ways, I've said the US, who's in charge of the US, is somewhat more important to Australia than who's in charge of Australia at the time. With defence, due to the amount of, like, say, Marines that are in Australia, as well as things like someone put up AUKUS, and then even the submarine contract, which Australia just got straight up scammed on. Like, it could be one of the largest scams of all time. It's like $50 billion. And it's like, yeah, Australia's paying for the subs, but if the US ever needs them, then they get them and we can't use them. But at the same time, the US is already short on submarines, so we might never actually receive the nuclear subs that we're paying for and build. It's like, righto. Get a couple of old subs. We do have a fleet of Collins class submarines. They're apparently a lot more capable than let on. But yeah. Press briefing. Someone did say that it is delayed. We will wait out and we will see. Vuglada has fallen. Yeah, we did share that. We know, and I will share it in a video. I got to get up. Oh, if I even bother going to bed after this, because it's almost 0400 in the morning. I got to go to the doctor, do whatever, and I've got to make a Ukraine video, and then speak about Vuglada falling and some other bits and pieces too. Thank you, Richard, on the PayPal for your US strip, brother. Thank you, Richo. God, I did not foresee this was going to occur today. We did a live stream today. Oh my God, I'm going to sneeze. It's right holding here. Live stream today, just discussing, yeah, look, this is operation in Lebanon's happening, and now we're chatting about this. On the PayPal, Nick Sullivan, thank you very much, brother, on the PayPal. Also, I really appreciate this. You guys are really helping to support me, my stream, and getting this stream to the US to watch what will be an unbelievably important and interesting election. How large the operation is? Israel looking to occupy territory. We don't have a good idea yet of how large that operation is. We don't believe that Israel's looking to occupy territory, but more probably create like some little buffer zone, because there's 60 to 100,000 people in the north of Israel that have had to be evacuated. I think what Israel want to do is push back then the H guy in that area so they can move people back in that area and decrease the threats. Well, it will be successful or not, well, I don't know. Why not try and develop your own nuclear sub? In Brazil has been developing them, will be ready for 2028. Developing your own nuclear subs, even if Australia started right now, Australia has no nuclear industry. We don't have nuclear power stations. We don't have anything. We have one nuclear test facility, or scientific facility, but that's it. So it would even be training PhDs on things. To actually go from now to developing our own nuke subs, if we were to take it all on board, it'd take us 50 years, if not more. those H guys. Well, it's just YouTube sometimes pick up on the names if I say something and then smack me with restrictions and this and that. Hope you fueled up the car, boys. Yeah, I wonder what fuel's going to increase to. Sorry, I was just replying to someone who's on the ground letting me know some stuff. Right. Israeli Defense Force Commander Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, who we showed you before, has said that you may leave protected areas. You should continue to follow the Home Front Commander's guidelines. I'll ask you to continue demonstrating responsibility and to be alert. So I think the end to the actual attack has seemed to end, and then it's sort of lifting around there, assessing the situation. Now, this is what will be happening at this White House briefing, is there'll be just more information getting pumped into the US, and obviously critical information is like, right, let's wait up because we want to then talk about this. Darko, thank you, brother, on PayPal, as well as Captain HHL. No inner circle content for now. Reappears to have a nice simulation on China v Australia, just saying. Reappears to have a nice simulation. Yeah, I can have a look. Australia v China would be very, very weird. The actual ability for China to cross oceans and put like an expeditionary landing force in Australia, I'm not saying it would be impossible, but China would have massive casualties doing that. Even just naval, just coming across. Yeah, it would be hectic. It's a long way. I've spoken about before. If look at the struggle that Russia had moving into the country next door, basically across open fields and roads. Look at that. Look at how difficult that was with the amount of ISR assets and other, more offensive kinetic systems too in modern war. Try doing that, but over an ocean for hundreds, thousands of kilometers. It's going to be very, very different. I don't know if that's even possible anymore. Did any missiles hit a target? No, I'm unsure. We don't know yet. Very likely so from the footage we've seen. Very, very likely that they did. But again, we don't actually know. Hi, CJ Arnold. I hope you're doing well, mate. China, Russia, Iran versus the West, and put North Korea in that also. This is what many geopolitical experts around the world are calling the, quote, axis of upheaval. That is what is being coined for Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. Ooh. So we see an Iranian missile going into said to be an Israeli base. He said on his entry here. I'll keep going. I'll keep showing you footage as more footage comes through. Yeah, let's have a look at this one. Should you nap? Well, I will try and get some rest. Strike on something. The thing is, we are probably still not going to get any good idea on exactly what was hit at all. Like we're really, really not. Press briefing, still delayed. Let me look and see if Aussie has said anything. According to channels, man was killed in the West Bank from falling debris. Chris Stefan Rose, thank you, brother, for the PayPal dono. Appreciate that. Been watching since February 2022. Grab yourself a coffee on me when you're in the US. Thanks, Chris. I will do that. I will be in the US having brews, hot and cold. I do like some American beer. I do like those Michelobes. So look, yeah, that's an unbelievable bloody thing, isn't it? They hit a nuclear power plant. No, we're unsure. There's reported strikes near a nuclear facility, but we're not sure yet. We will wait and see. Let's see if any other news. People are claiming that the Nevatim air base was destroyed, but these are pro-Russia, pro-Iranian pages that are saying that. Yeah, Iranian news agency Tasnim has claimed that Israel's Nevatim air base has been destroyed by missile strikes. These claims are unverified. Wait and see. That said, we do know that likely there was hits on these by some of this footage that we are seeing. What do you think the possibility of getting dragged to this war for American citizens are? I'm 23, haven't had global conflict like this in my lifetime. Would have affected me. Something like this is not going to kick up like a conscription if you're not already in, but there will be a redeployment of American forces for sure into the area of operations. And when I mean area, like potentially Cyprus, bolstering presence in Iraq and Syria, Jordan too. But if you're just not serving, you're not going to get called up and mobilized for what we're seeing at the moment. Oh, I missed something. Sonia, Chris, thank you for gifting memberships, mate. I appreciate that. You'll see the sun at midnight before you're called up for a draft. Yep, Neil is probably very correct. Yeah. Do you know what aircraft are stationed at that base? No, I don't. People are saying it's F-35s, though. Report saying 180 missiles, enough saturation. I thought Iron Dome could do more. I could be wrong. The pickle, it depends on what's coming in. Iron Dome against some rockets, yes. Against some ballistics, no. You're relying on then other systems as well. Oh my God, Ognagen Begikovic. You guys wouldn't have pronounced that better than I. Thank you for the donation. But could Orion have targeted areas of little to no importance and therefore not all lightly defended by air defense just to get good footage in the national media? Absolutely, that could happen. Yeah, you hit areas that are open that's probably going to let them get through, and then you have a massive win in media. That is absolutely an area of it too. We'll look at satellite images in the morning. Yeah, absolutely. This press briefing still has just not started. Well, we'll get a better idea as this continues, guys. And tomorrow, that is when we look at satellite imagery. It's always like the next day or two, we'll get a look. Private satellite companies about to get a good payday. Yeah, absolutely. Important note, there is no declaration of war by Iran. Yes, people are saying that, but currently no. Eddie C, thank you, brother. Australian too, mate. Go back to bed. But thank you, Eddie. So I'm just trying to look at some other bits of footage that have come up. That's very impressive. That's not in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's said to be Nefertim, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Is that Israel, Lebanon? This is Israel, I believe. Yeah, impacts in Israel. And this is then the ballistics getting fired off as well. Rob Bertram, be working or keeping up. Any word on casualties net? No, Rob, no word yet on casualties, mate. Israel's getting hammered. Yeah, Israel did get hammered overnight, but it'd be interesting to see what response. Willie, what would your guess be of how many missiles got through? Mate, from what I've seen, I would go, it's got to be 80. Just from what I've seen, and I haven't seen every little bit of the footage. Ken says, gives me the American, Team America theme song. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate that, mate. On the PayPal. Come on, press briefing. I would have gone on stage by now. So, yeah, when someone asks how many got through, just when you're looking at footage like this, a hell of a lot. No, they're not clusters. They're rockets. Individuals. Clusters will airburst. Like, so imagine this was a cluster here. It would airburst like here or a bit lower and then spread out on the ground. And it look like a sparkler on the ground. The Chief of General Staff of the Israeli Forces is currently holding an assessment. So we'll get an idea of situational assessment as you can leave protected areas, but be like wary, basically, is what that assessment said. God, this is a crazy night, isn't it? It'll be interesting to see something that which we will see is we will see likely footage from US and UK Navy warships as well, intercepting as well as planes taking off from probably Cyprus. Tobias had found an impact video from urban areas now. Can I give you the link from r/combat footage? Oh, I'll have a look. I'll see what I can find on Twitter. Thanks, mate. This was expected response. Yeah, it was known that something was coming And then it was sort of known within the next hours that something was imminent, and then we have seen. Someone has said Iran's about to receive a new nuclear deal via email. So, yeah, this is talking to that you can see a lot of these impacting. These people are bloody close to this. Let me see if I can find anything more.
האוויר מיקום
It's not English. So IDF spokesman has said, we asked not to give information to the enemy and not to transfer location documentation from areas where there are vulnerabilities. This right here, IDF spokesman. So it's probably referring to some of battle damage assessments to and videos and photographs of what has been hit. It could be, of course, sensitive. I can't scroll up now. Techno says Iran took the bait. October surprise. The US has been trying to get a casus belli for decades. Potentially, mate. Potentially. Thank you for the donation as well.
They're coming. Hold on. Okay, guys, we got to get off the roof. These are coming down right next to us here. They're coming down. One just about. We got to go inside.
Yeah, reports of F-35s. Look, there's nothing confirmed yet. Like we always say, give it a couple of weeks. A couple of days. We get better ideas, but it's likely that even if one was, it'll be that tightly hush-hush, we won't ever see it. Israeli Defense Forces states that its air force will carry out powerful airstrikes tonight throughout the Middle East. Israeli officials state that over 180 long-range ballistic missiles were launched by Iran against Israel, with at least half of the missiles believed to have been intercepted by Israeli air defences as well as combined allied force, so US, UK primarily, consisting of US and regional partners. So a number of European states involved, probably across two NATO countries, at least with half being intercepted. That's still a hell of a lot that have actually got through compared to the usual claims we see of interception rate. So potentially 90 hits, which is a lot. So that is a lot. Several ballistic missiles fired by Iran were intercepted by a group of US Navy Burt class guided missile destroyers. Yeah, operating in the Mediterranean, like we have stated that we saw that last time. We'll see it again. Well, we have seen it again. How many casualties are you expecting? I think it'll still be pretty low. There was good warning given out and a lot of hard spots too. Sorry if this is disrespectful. Did Schumer give you any difficulties day to day? No, not at all. I don't notice that I've got it day to day at all. The surgeon is incredibly surprised I don't show any neurological deficit with the size of the tumour in my head. But no, I don't have any deficits as far as I'm aware. One thing is, I could be compensating for it and not realizing as well. A little bit like being colorblind, you may not actually realize. So I may have some level of deficit, but it's so gradual that I don't really notice. Right, just seeing if there is any more footage that has come out. So at least half been intercepted, but that's still a lot have come through. Was the voice lost? No. The voice, when I lost my voice, that was because I burst a vocal fold. All right, we're going to wait for this press briefing. If it's the last thing we ever do, guys, I regret not making myself a cup of tea. Oi, hey, the US has hurt us. They, as we know, the White House follow old Willie OAM, and they were like, he's talking shit. Get him on. I bet she feels very awkward right now. Right, let's have a squidgerididge, see what this is then about. I know I cannot sing falsetto. What was I going to say? Bro, if I were her, I'd be pissing myself laughing. If I was just sitting there in silence like that, it'd be like being in a school exam. Oh, there's this bloke. I can't remember this bloke's name right here. He's funny, man. He asks some heavy questions. Someone said it's not. No. Biden's not coming out. It's Karine Jean-Pierre. Jean-Pierre. Yeah, you'll recognise her. Expert at avoiding the question. Expert at avoiding this specific guy's right. Here's questions. Can you create instant coffee? I actually don't have any instant coffee, but I'd love a cup of tea, just something to warm up a little bit. But we're going to watch this. We're going to see what happens here. Should we watch it through or... Oh, here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm going to be really quick here. I have the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, to talk about the latest in the Middle East, so I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you, Karine, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to provide a brief report on the Iranian ballistic missile attack against Israel that occurred earlier today. I can take just a few questions because this is an ongoing situation and I need to get back to my desk. Today, Iran launched nearly 200 ballistic missiles towards targets in Israel. The United States military coordinated closely with the Israeli Defense Forces to help defend Israel against this attack. U.S. naval destroyers joined Israeli air defense units in firing interceptors to shoot down inbound missiles. President Biden and Vice President Harris monitored the attack and the response from the White House Situation Room, joined in person and remotely by their national security team. We are still working with the IDF and the authorities in Israel to assess the impact of the attack. But at this time, and I stress at this time, we do not know of any deaths in Israel. We are tracking the reported death of a Palestinian civilian in Jericho in the West Bank. We do not know of any damage to aircraft or strategic military assets in Israel.
I don't know.
In short, based on what we know at this point, this attack appears to have been defeated and ineffective. This was first and foremost the result of the professionalism of the IDF, but in no small part because of the skilled work of the U.S. military and meticulous joint planning in anticipation of the attack. We are also aware of reports of a terrorist attack in Jaffa that took the lives of a number of Israeli civilians and wounded several others today. Our condolences go out to the families of the victims and to the family of the Palestinian civilian in Jericho.
Thank you, Ruben. I really
Obviously,
appreciate
my
it.
update here is based on early reports, and we reserve the right to amend and adjust as necessary as we gather more information. The word fog of war was invented for a situation like this. This is a fluid situation. We will consult with the Israelis on next steps in terms of the response and how to deal with what Iran has just done, and we will continue to monitor for further threats and attacks from Iran and its proxies. We are particularly focused on protecting U.S. service members in the region. And with that, I'll take just a few questions. Yeah.
Thanks, Jake. Is the administration making any preparations to evacuate U.S. citizens from Lebanon or elsewhere in the region?
We have been very clear for some time now that U.S. citizens should avail themselves of commercial means to depart Lebanon, given everything that's going on. We have said that from this podium, from multiple podiums. We continue to say that, but we have not begun triggering a non-combatant emergency evacuation, a NEO, and do not have an intention to do so at this time. If that changes, we'll let you know. But we continue to reinforce the point. American citizens in Lebanon should follow the guidance from the State Department, which is to find civilian commercial means to depart, because in extremis, we may not be able to get them out safely. Yes.
Thanks, Jake. What is the U.S. view on whether Israel should retaliate, and what is your concern about this leading to a wider escalation of war in the region?
We've had some initial discussions with the Israelis in the aftermath of this at the military level and also at the White House to Prime Minister's office level. We'll continue those conversations in the hours ahead. I'm not going to prejudge or get ahead of anything. We want to have some deep consultations with the Israelis, and I'll have more to report to you after we get the opportunity for deeper discussions.
And escalation in the region?
Obviously, this is a significant escalation by Iran, a significant event, and it is equally significant that we were able to step up with Israel and create a situation in which no one was killed in this attack in Israel, so far as we know at this time. We are now going to look at what the appropriate next steps are to secure, first and foremost, American interests, and then to promote stability to the maximum extent possible as we go forward. Yeah.
Back in April, the president's message to Israel was to take the win when the U.S. and Israel were able to intercept the barrage of Iranian missiles. Is he recommending a similarly limited response this time?
I will not, from this podium, share the president's recommendations. He will have the opportunity to share them directly. We're going to have, as I said, ongoing consultations with the Israelis this afternoon, this evening. It is too early for me to tell you anything publicly in terms of our assessment or in terms of what our expectations are of the Israelis or the advice that we will give them.
So will he be speaking to Prime Minister Netanyahu today?
I don't have anything to announce from this podium, but I can tell you that he is tracking this minute by minute. We are very much deeply in touch with the Israelis, and insofar as we have calls to read out, we'll make sure to read them out with you. Just last question, then I'll turn it over.
Thank you, Jake. In April, after Iran struck Israel, the U.S. issued a number of sanctions as a consequence. This morning, the president said there would be severe consequences if Iran carried out this attack. What are those consequences, and are they more severe than sanctions?
Totally legitimate question, and that answer will come based on the conversations and consultations we have with our Israeli counterparts. It's too soon for me to stand before you today and give you an answer. What I can tell you is this. We are proud of the actions that we've taken alongside Israel to protect and defend Israel. We have made clear that there will be consequences, severe consequences for this attack, and we will work with Israel to make that the case. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jake.
Right. So there will
Thank
be
you,
severe
Jake.
consequences.
Okay.
So we'll see definitely
On
something.
to the rest of the programming here.
Ruben, thank you very
This
much for your
morning,
donation, mate.
President
Sorry I
Biden
had
was
to
briefed
leave
by
it.
his Homeland Security Advisor, Liz Sherwood Randall, on the latest impacts of Hurricane Helene, and this afternoon he will receive an
Stop that. So nothing groundbreaking in that. So far, don't know the casualties or tolls. The US can't say anything yet. It's definitely not going to be confirmed yet. But what we do know is that half of those got through. It seems like there will be a lot of damage elsewhere. We do know in Jaffa the attack of the guys with the small arms. That is said to have increased now to 6 people that have been killed. That went off at the same time that then the missiles came in. Whether it was coordinated or opportune, I can't tell you that either. Islamic Resistance in Iraq, a coalition of Iranian-backed paramilitary groups in Iraq and Syria, has now stated they will launch attacks on US bases in Iraq and across the region if the US participates in an Israeli attack against Iran. But listening to Jake, it does definitely sound like there's going to be a lot of retaliation here, and not as per what was stated last time, but sort of take the win and let it peter out. But we will see. I miss Biden coming out. Well, this is the thing in the US. For shit like this, the president should be the one, like, speaking at things like this. But Biden could not physically do that. No way. It would make an embarrassment of himself if it's not a complete teleprompter. Even then, it is unfathomably embarrassing on a world level for the most powerful country the world's ever seen to have that. So I'll have a look and see if any more footage does come out. But otherwise, guys, I know very last minute stream, but I really appreciate you guys being here. We're not finishing up yet. I'll just have a quick scroll around and look. But I would really like to try and get some shut-eye before I've got to get up in probably maybe 2 hours. I can't show you any footage of that. The guy's small arms attack, where 6 people were then shot and killed. Absolute just terror attack in Jaffa. Rob, I forgot my PayPal password. I'm locked out. Well, Rob, thank you, brother, though, for the donation. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, from Iran. With God's help, the blows of the uprising front will become stronger and more painful on the worn, rotting body of the Zionist regime. Well, take that as you will. There's going to be a lot more occur in the Middle East. Department of State briefing in 2 minutes. Great. Recon, where can I find... Will that be on YouTube as well? Oh, yeah. Okay, I found this. Right, we'll wait. We'll watch this one too. Yeah, it's incredibly... I think this is the... Sorry, let me turn this down. I think this is the most incredible footage we've actually got. You can see these ones coming in here, but then you can also see when this pans to the right, you can see Iron Dome. The pan here is unbelievable. There, look at that. Rick says Iran's ready to use all its nuclear arsenal. They don't have really a nuclear arsenal as far as we're aware, but they could lose a hell of a lot of other facilities. Oh, wow. I want to show you guys a bit of footage but it's going to just take me a minute because I need to actually send it to myself. Sorry. Should probably plug my phone in. It's on 30%. Let me just close this. Sorry, I'm just trying to bring up a video for you guys. So this is in Israel. Then, can you guys see that all right? I'm not in the way. Oh, what? What? Is it driving in the road? That is insanely close. I'll play it again. Yeah, there would definitely be, I hazard a guess that there will be definite casualties. We just don't know yet. So I'm just putting that on Telegram. If you're not a member, come and join. Telegram is pretty good. Someone said, damn ads. Well, at least I'm getting ads. This is one of the, my live streams typically don't get any. Are there any live cameras up? Missile flew 1,800 kilometers to blow up on the side of the road. Yeah, a lot do that. I'll see if the IDF has put anything else out. But while we wait for the Department of State's briefing. The missile attack, as far as we are aware, has stopped. There's no new waves. This is that video that I showed you before. Can someone tell me how long we've been streaming for? I can't see my end. Poncho Zorch, been a while since your last live. Absolutely, mate. Months.
Yeah, sorry, I was like sucking in.
Whoop. Sounded like a bit of a hot mic there, brother. Right, let's see.
Good afternoon, everyone, and sorry for delaying you today. Start with some opening comments before I turn to questions. Starting around 12:30 Eastern Time today, Iran launched nearly 200 ballistic missiles against a number of targets in Israel. The United States once again came to Israel's defense against these attacks, just as we participated in Israel's defense when Iran launched its April 13th attack. Our initial assessment is that Israel, with direct and every nation in the world, must join us in condemning it. Secretary Blinken joined President Biden, Vice President Harris, and other members of the President's national security team in monitoring this attack as it was unfolding, as well as our response. As the President has made clear, our support for Israel's security is ironclad. We will continue to stand with the people of Israel at this critical moment. With that, Matt.
Thanks. So I think this probably goes without saying, just to make sure. So in terms of what happened in Israel, no damage to any U.S. facilities, no injuries, no nothing.
At this time, we are not aware of any damage to U.S. facilities. As you know, we issued an order earlier today for our personnel, State Department personnel in Israel to shelter at their homes. We have full accountability for all our personnel. We're not aware of any civilian casualties inside Israel, there, let alone an American citizen casualty. There is one report of a Palestinian who died in the West Bank, but no damage to any U.S. facility either.
And then both you and the National Security Advisor just a few minutes ago talked about the raising the unacceptable escalation. But does the administration see anything that Israel has done over the course of the last 3 weeks as escalatory?
So certainly they have done things to expand the conflict. But if you look at the actions that they have taken, they were bringing terrorists to justice, terrorists who have launched attacks on Israeli civilians. If you look at what Iran did today, we've been warning for some time about the threat posed by Iran arming and funding terrorist groups across the Middle East. And the attack today just demonstrated the danger of those actions. What you saw was Iran launching a state-on-state attack to protect and defend the terrorist groups that it has built, nurtured, and that it controls. So there is a difference between the actions that we have seen Israel take to defend its civilians and what we see. We've seen Iran take.
They are equivalent. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't see.
No, we have certainly seen we've certainly seen Israel expand the nature of its attacks against Hezbollah, but it is a very different type of attack than what we saw today from a state actor against another state.
Okay, and then last one, and this has to do with Lebanon and the northern front. The situation there is, unstable and uncertain. I know that you guys have been asking Americans who may want information about assistance and possibly leaving to sign up on a form.
Bro, can you not fucking mumble?
And whether or not we're planning to do anything in the way of the U.S. government capabilities for charter flights or ferries.
Sure. So you're right. As we often do in these situations, we have directed U.S. citizens who are in Lebanon to register with the State Department for information, and especially for information with how to depart Lebanon, and we're providing them whatever information we can. We have had, as of today, around 6,000 American citizens in Lebanon who have registered with us for further information. Should be clear, not all of those American citizens are seeking assistance with departing. People are just looking for information. They're looking for options. There are a number of American citizens who live in Lebanon who have lived there for years and do not want to depart the country. So in terms of the status on the ground, the airport is still open. Commercial flights are operating, although they are available at times at reduced capacity. We are working right now with airlines to provide additional flights with more seats for American citizens. It's something that we hope to turn on in the next few days, and we will be in touch with American citizens if and when we're able to expand that capability.
How do you ensure that the seats preserved for America?
No, we're working with, I can't get into the details, but we're working with commercial carriers to ensure that capability. And when we have further information and we've locked this down, it's something we'll communicate directly with American citizens who've asked for information, and then I'll be happy to come and talk about it here at the briefing room.
Thanks.
Yeah,
so given that the Secretary and the National Security Advisor just said that this attack by Iran is sort of definitively escalatory in nature, I know that you've been telling us, the Secretary even told us that for months you've been encouraging the Israelis not to respond to attacks and provocations in such a way that escalates anything further. Is the Secretary going to continue to to offer
Should we
that
have a
same
look?
advice to
Pentagon
the
one?
Israelis now in the wake of these necessary?
I'll say a couple of things about that. First, of course, Israel has the right to defend itself, as any nation does. In terms of what Israel's response will be, of course, there must be consequences for Iran for this attack. We've made clear that there must be consequences. I'm not going to get into what those consequences are today, but there are things on which we will be coordinating with our Israeli counterparts. And I think in the immediate aftermath of this attack, we are going to coordinate with
personnel or interests in the region. The United States will take every necessary measure to defend our people. And separately, I do have an update to provide on DoD support to Hurricane Helene response efforts, but I'll provide that at the end. With that, happy to take your questions. We'll start with AP. Tara.
Thanks, General Ryder. What Navy destroyers were involved in helping shoot down and intercept? And given this escalation, what's being communicated between Secretary Austin and Minister Gallant right now in terms of tampering things down and potentially avoiding a wider war?
So the two Navy destroyers involved were the USS Bulkley and the USS Cole. In terms of the conversations between Secretary Austin and Minister Gallant, I won't get into the private discussions.
Super quiet. Sorry, I'll turn this up. I'll try.
Closely with them on next steps and the continued defense of Israel.
And then, are there any plans underway to conduct a NEO given the increased risk of a wider war?
Right now, there has been no order to evacuate. As you've heard us say before, we are a planning organization, so we, of course, plan for all contingencies. But as of right now, State Department has not called for an evacuation. Jennifer.
Should we assume that the SM-3s were used by the Cole and the Bulkley to shoot down or to intercept the missiles?
I'm not going to get into the specific type of ordnance, Jennifer, other than to say, again, they fired a dozen interceptors.
And Iran said that they gave a heads up to the U.S. and to Russia. How much warning were you given by Iran?
Yeah, I'm not aware of any pre-warning by Iran about their potential attack. As you know, this is something we've been following very closely for a while, based on the threats of retaliation by Iran. And so we've been closely consulting with Israel for a while now to be prepared in the eventuality. And as today demonstrated, we were prepared and we were able to successfully work alongside Israel to defend them from this attack. Let me go to Carla.
Thanks, Pat. You said that the destroyers shot down Iranian missiles. Where do they come from? Were they all from inside Iran, or was some also from Yemen being shot by the Houthis?
Carla, to my knowledge, and again, we're still assessing this, these were all launched from Iran, ballistic missiles. And what I said was that they fired the interceptors towards those missiles. So.
And then were any other U.S. assets involved in this defense?
Of course, we have a lot of capability in the region, a lot of things that are there to be prepared for a wide variety of threats. But in terms of the launching of these interceptors, it was those two destroyers.
So just being clear, no ground-based interceptors were used in this.
Correct.
Were you aware of any duds that didn't fire off, that maybe Iran wanted to fire more than the roughly 200?
As I mentioned, we're still assessing the outcome of the attack, and so we'll have much more information later. But these are all, our initial reports.
And then on the second call with the Secretary and Minister Gallant, did he urge Israel not to respond or to moderate any response to Iran, or did Gallant share any of Israeli intentions for their potential response here?
Well, again, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I'm just not going to be able to get into the details of their call, other than to say, again, we're consulting closely about next steps. Continued defense of Israel.
What does Secretary Austin think about the potential for an Israeli response here? Would he urge them, without saying what he said in the call necessarily, but what are his feelings about the potential? Would he urge them restraint or?
Well, look, if you take a step back here, we fully support Israel's right to defend itself. You just saw a very significant ballistic missile attack by Iran against Israel. And so, we'll continue to work alongside them to support their defense. We, of course, do not want to see a wider regional conflict. You've heard us say that many times, and we'll continue to work towards that end. But we also fully understand the fact that this was a significant attack by Iran, and so we're going to continue to consult closely, and we're going to continue to support their defense. Let me go to Laura.
Thank you. Just a couple of clarifications. You say that the U.S. destroyers had intercepted or shot down the missiles, or just that they fired?
I said that they fired approximately a dozen interceptors against the incoming Iranian missiles.
And were there any U.S. aircraft that shot interceptors at Iran?
What I've read out is
I will say
participated in
the audio is insanely low. Oh shit!
Can you say if there were any drones?
I typed in 50 instead of 500. Sorry.
Again, still assessing it right now. It appears it was ballistic missiles, no drones, but again, we'll continue to assess. Let me go to Joseph and then we'll come.
Just wanted to turn to the Israeli invasion in Lebanon. For the past couple of months, the department and the secretary have called for de-escalation. You guys have voiced your opposition to any ground incursion, invasions, limited operations. After we found out that the Israeli strike last week killed the Hezbollah chief, Hassan Nasrallah, it seems like the tone changed. From the statements last night, the department and the secretary said they supported what Israel is doing. So what changed for a change in that tone and that stance from the department?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, Joseph, is we fully support Israel's right to defend itself against Hezbollah. As we understand it, they will be conducting limited operations to destroy Hezbollah infrastructure that's arrayed along the border there that could be used to threaten Israeli citizens. And so we're continuing to consult with the Israelis to better understand how they intend to go forward. Obviously, I'd refer you to them to talk or ask questions about details regarding those operations. But we fully understand as part of their overall efforts to return people home that they do need to address those threats that are along the border there. And so all that to say, we will continue to consult with the Israelis and other partners in the region long term about how we can ultimately de-escalate those tensions and get to a ceasefire.
Have they asked for any help from you guys doing whatever it is that they want to do?
No. Yes, sir.
Were the United States surprised by the scale of the Iranian attack on Israel?
Well, look, like I said before, we've been monitoring this for a while. Iran had been very public about its threats to retaliate, and so it's something that we've been monitoring. Certainly, this was a significant attack, probably about twice the size in terms of scope of what we saw earlier. But again, we're still assessing the outcomes of this. And as I highlighted at the top, we certainly condemn this reckless attack, this direct attack against Israel, and we'll continue to support Israel's defense.
Several Israeli media spoke about a response tonight, Israeli response tonight to this attack, including some, not just Iran, some other Middle Eastern countries. Will the United States be assisting the Israelis in their response?
Well, I'm not going to speculate about hypotheticals. I'd refer you to the Israelis to talk about,
Will the Americans help them with their response?
Well, what you're asking me is if they're going to do something, and what I'm saying is I'm not going to speculate about what or if they may do. As I highlighted to several of your colleagues, we're consulting closely with the Israelis in terms of next steps, with the emphasis being the defense of Israel. So let me go to this side of the room. Oren.
Essentially a follow-up to that question, is the U.S. willing to strike Iran in response to this? Are you putting that on or off the table?
Well, look, Oren, again, I don't want to get into hypotheticals. I think I was very clear at the top that should U.S. forces be targeted by Iran or its proxies, we'll take necessary steps to defend our people. And I think we've also been very clear that we're going to support the defense of Israel. And so I'm not going to get into theoretical or speculative operations at this stage, other than to say, we mean what we say and we say what we mean.
And then a follow-up question. Iran claims to have used a new Fatah missile, which is supposed to be a hypersonic ballistic missile. Can you assess whether they did use new and advanced weaponry in this attack and whether they learned from the April attack?
Again, we're still assessing the attack and the outcomes, and so we may have more to provide later, but I don't have anything on that.
We're assessing. Ask the Israelis. The whole thing.
Two questions, please. On Secretary Austin's statement last night, he referred to
being supportive of operations along the border. Is he open to Israel using operations on both sides of the border? Along the border was a little vague there.
Well, I think I'd go back to how I responded to Joseph, right? We understand and support Israel's right to defend itself against Hezbollah, as we highlighted in the readout. We understand that part of that is dismantling some of the attack infrastructure that Hezbollah has built along the border. Certainly, again, we don't want to see this broaden into a wider regional conflict, but we understand, again, that what Israel is doing are limited operations to destroy that attack infrastructure and then enable citizens on both sides of the border to return home. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we do think that a diplomatic resolution is the only way to achieve lasting stability and security across the Israel-Lebanon border. So, we're going to continue to work to that end, but we also, again, understand Israel's need to defend itself.
And then a follow. The State Department read out a report on an attack on a diplomatic facility at Baghdad Airport last night. Have you seen any other attacks on U.S. forces, I guess, since Friday? This one would seem to be on a diplomatic facility, but be it in the last day, particularly at this heightened time of tension, or just broadly over the last couple of days?
Yeah, as of right now, I'm not aware of any additional attacks. Thanks. Sir.
The Iron Dome, how effective is it against ballistic missiles? And some of the televised images appeared to show some of them landing on infrastructure. Are you aware of that? In general, was this attack more effective than the Iranian attack in April?
Again, understanding that a lot is still, very initial. As I highlighted, initial indications are that there was minimal damage on the ground. In terms of the specifics, I would have to refer you to Israel really to talk through that. And again, as more information comes in, we'll certainly know more. But the initial assessment is that Israel was able to successfully defend itself, of course, with the support from the U.S. And so, again, we may have more later on that. Helene?
Thanks, Pat. I just want to be clear because it seems like we're at a very dangerous time where any kind of ambiguity from the U.S. could lead to an attack on American troops. And when you say I understand when you say that we're going to defend any attack on American troops. I also understand that that you said that no American troops were hurt.
Try Hungry Jack's new Mexican waffle.
You can see how loud how quiet their video is compared to everything else. Oh, sorry, that's probably really loud. Thanks, Captain, for the donation. Am I going to go back to Israel? Potentially. I'll see.
Right, and presupposing what Israel may or may not do. So I'm just not going to talk about.
But you said there will be consequences, and Jake Sullivan said there will be consequences. So
right,
what does
and
that
I think
mean?
broadly speaking, the U.S. has been clear that there will be security, economic consequences should Iran attack, but I just don't have anything to preview, specifically as it relates to that. All right, yes, sir.
Thanks, Pat. Just to clarify, did any U.S. aircraft track any of the missiles either before the launch or during the attack, even if they weren't involved kinetically in the defense of Israel?
So I won't go into specifics, Chris, other than to say, as you well know, we have a wide variety of ISR capabilities throughout the region to monitor and track potential aerial threats, to include aircraft that do that. So I'll just leave it there. Okay. Charlie.
Thank you, General. I know you said repeatedly that Iran doesn't telegraph these attacks, yet from early this morning we were told that an attack would be imminent, so we're getting some sort of information from somewhere. Based on whatever that was based on, where does Iran stand now? Is this just the first salvo? From your assessment, are they positioned to go ahead and pull the trigger again at will?
That's really a question for Iran. As evidenced by this attack, they certainly maintain the capability to conduct additional attacks. As I highlighted at the top, we call on them to halt any further attacks, and we'll continue to assess. We'll also continue to be prepared to respond in the defense defense of Israel should they opt to do another one. We certainly hope that they do not, but we obviously have to be prepared in that eventuality.
I just want to clarify, I think you said earlier this is twice the size and scope from the attack of April 13th?
Yeah, it's about twice as large in terms of the number of ballistic missiles that they launched from the last.
Was their intent to actually do damage this time?
Well, look, you don't launch that many missiles at a target without the intent of hitting something. So absolutely, just like the last time, their intent is to
Bet that guy's feeling like an idiot right now.
And so, fortunately, Israel has very significant air defense capabilities, and the U.S., of course, played a role in helping on that front as well. Thank you. Matt?
Thanks, Pat. You said there have been no new attacks on U.S. forces in the region, but is the department tracking a greater threat now to U.S. forces, and are you taking any extra measures on top of the recent plus-ups you've done for force protection?
Well, Matt, as you know, we're always taking force protection very seriously. We're all very well aware of the heightened tensions in the region, and U.S. Central Command has been, for a long time now, constantly assessing and reassessing the threat to ensure that our forces are protected. Like I mentioned, I'm not aware, as I come to the podium, I'm not aware of any additional attacks beyond the one that Dan mentioned, but it's something that will obviously be,
Look, there's nothing in this that we don't know at all. It's fucking dry. A lot of the questions are interesting at best. Did someone launch missiles at another country to try and cause damage? No. Nah, brother. Ill brother. What's that? So, basically, what we're getting is that a lot of the journalists who are depending on the White House just don't understand the situation and won't speak into a microphone. But on the other hand, realistically, the update on exactly what has happened and the briefings even back to the US has been very, very limited. As far as amount of damage, what has occurred, and what responses will be, we don't know. We may not know for a while what the response will be back into Iran. Well, Israel is not just going to let this blow over, even if that will be what a lot of people would ask for, and strategically may actually be in some ways potentially the better choice rather than climbing this constant ladder of escalation until you go into a larger war, but we're not sure. That's what people called for last time as well. So we will see. But you can't, as Bruce Dog points out, you can't just ignore this. But at the same time, what then occurs when you're constantly climbing this escalatory measure, that then, of course, this will never then actually end. So we've heard that Israel will have a response, and we've also heard that National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that Iran will suffer severe consequences. I think we'll see Iran dropping a lot of bombs in... I think we'll see Israel dropping a lot of bombs in Iran and increased then attacks from there as well. Also, thank you, Robert Hauser, for the PayPal donation with the caption, dinner for when I am in the US. Remember, guys, I am raising money at the moment to support my trip to take the live stream to the United States, to specifically Washington, to, of course, live stream the US presidential elections taking place in November. Potentially, maybe return to Israel, but I will see, because I always tend to go there at the worst possible time, at least recently. But I hope that you guys are doing really well. Is there anything I've missed that I should be looking at right now? But yeah, remember, if you want to support that, I'm fully independent. So if you want to support me, that's the best ways to do so. Don't get in a plane. Everything happens when you're in a plane. Yeah, literally. Where you're staying in DC, I'd have no idea. Probably at some random hotel. Will you get a second opinion in the States for your tumour? That's actually not a bad idea. Born too late to deploy to the Middle East, born too early to deploy to the Middle East, born just in time to deploy to the Middle East. Absolutely. Willie, do you think this reduces the amount of missiles Russia can launch at us here? Not at all, no. The effect on Russia's offensive missile stores, I don't think this will have, if any, impact on that, as domestic production is still much larger than Iranian stuff going. The amount of Iranian missiles we're actually seeing used in, like, confirmed in Ukraine is limited at best. But what I think this can have a very large effect on is, I do believe the big effect would be the air defense. We know the shitload of air defense has been used tonight. Many of those systems, not the, not of course the Iron Dome, but other systems are, of course, used in Ukraine. There already is a shortage of that. There is a worldwide shortage of some of those systems, as it's very hard and very expensive to make, that I do believe then we may see a limited amount of air defense allocated towards Ukraine from the US if it has to allocate more to Israel. Like it or not, Israel is much closer allies in many terms, all terms, than Ukraine, militarily, I should say. And the allocation of air defense will go there first. And if you don't believe that they are closer allies, all I'd point at then is, well, the US is having Navy destroyers and fighter aircraft in the air actively intercepting these Iranian missiles, where that's not happening, of course, in Ukraine. Do you plan on doing reaction videos? I've done a couple before, but I just never know what to react to, if that makes sense. If you guys send me stuff to react to, I'll do it. Right. Legends. Look, I think I'm going to take the advice of... Fuck, who said it? Wow. WO2K360. That we've seen probably the most amount that we've seen at the moment. And I might get some rest. As you're probably aware, maybe... been really suffering with a lot of burnout at the moment, and I got like 2 hours sleep until one of my boys called me. I was like, Willie, you need to go live right now. This is what's happening. One of my guys works in a very different time zone to myself, and he knows if I'm not awake, and that he is awake, therefore he can call me straight away, wake me up if things are happening, and I'll jump on. So that has occurred, and you can thank him for actually getting on here as well. So yeah, I'm going to have probably an hour and a half. I need, 5 parts? So I can get 90 minutes of rest now if I can get to sleep. And then I need to drive across the city to see a doctor, and then I have to do a video today because I've got an advertiser with it too, so I have to do that today. Well, we will. Legends, look, as you're aware, I completely work for myself. No one bloody pays me, and I've had a lot of actually advertisers step away from me also because they want me to push some information that I'm like, I don't want to push that. But regardless, if you want to support the stream, there's the PayPal link. That's the best way. The best way to support me is through PayPal. But I also, watching my stuff, the super chats, whatever, is fantastic. I am also fundraising at the moment. I want to do more trips overseas with the live stream. I want to take you probably back to Israel at some point, and also definitely take you to the US for the elections, and we will see what then occurs in the US and see if there is unrest, at least to what degree in the US, as I believe there could be a lot following these elections. So if you want to support me, those are the links. I really, really appreciate it. Helps me out unbelievably. I really do appreciate you guys being here. I know it's last minute. I know my setup is not maybe the greatest, but either way, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for tuning in again. So yeah, I guess we'll wait to see what escalation occurs across the Middle East. Wait and see Israel's response to this. We will, of course, then report on this as we do. I mainly report Ukraine, Russia day to day, but I'm more than happy to do videos like this when it's something really major. I think the last donation of the night has come through. Barbara McCormack for the expenses with a kiss. Thank you, Barbara. I really appreciate that. I will absolutely get in the US, and that will be money well spent. Give you guys some days and days of streaming once we are there, and once we get the book club going as well. Anyway, legends, you know where to send them across. Barback, thank you very much. You guys know where if you want to support. Anyway, legends, have a great day. Look after yourselves. And for God's sake, let's just stop bloody killing ourselves, huh? Anyway, see you guys.